All right, everyone. Welcome to one of our film reviews. Today, we are breaking down Saints rookie defensive lineman Bryan Bresee. He had a really strong performance against the Indianapolis Colts. This guy deserves more and more playing time, and we're going to break down all the good things he did against the Colts with the cut-ups before you today. As always, if you appreciate this content, give us a like, give us a comment with any feedback you might have. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, we're going to open up with a pass rush, and there's Bresee right there. You can see him. He's lined up at what we call a three technique. Three technique is on the outside shoulder of the guard. If he was on the inside shoulder of the guard, we would call that a 2-eye. And what the Saints are going to do here is they're going to basically slant their entire defensive line this direction, and they're going to bring, number one, the slot corner off the edge as sort of a pressure package in this passing situation. The goal here is to get the entire offensive line moving and working this way to try and pick up the slant and hopefully get this guy off the edge. The offensive line and the running backs do a decent job picking up the blitz, but watch Bresee here. He ends up generating pressure on the quarterback, and it's a big play for the Saints defense. All right, you get the motion man. Right there, you can see all the Saints working to the right. You can see number one coming off the edge. Right now, they think they've got a potential shot on the quarterback right there. But the running back picks up number one, Gardner Minshew. The quarterback looks like he has a chance to step up and escape to his right. This has a chance to be a big play for the Colts offense, but watch Bresee keep working. Keeps working, gets pressure on the quarterback, poor throw, interception, huge turnover. Look, this is how big plays can happen for your defense. Right out the get-go, is this a clean beat? Not necessarily. He works his way across to the center, but he keeps working. He ends up beating him in the end, generates pressure on the quarterback. And here's one thing I really love about it. No late hit. Doesn't dive, doesn't throw him on the ground or anything like that, doesn't do anything stupid, just kind of falls at his feet, gets his hands up, does a good job avoiding some of those dumb roughing the passer calls, and the result, big turnover for the Saints defense. Bresee had a phenomenal game rushing the passer, did pretty good against the run too. It's reps like these that from an interior defensive lineman can be a big boost for your defense. This rookie right here, the more film I watch of him, the more I think he deserves more playing time. He's becoming a big-time playmaker up front for this New Orleans defense.
Yeah, Nick, and the left side of this Colts line is absolutely stout. And going up against that center, Kelly is the highest graded center in all of the NFL at this time of the season, an 83.5 grade per PFF. So Bresee going against an elite center, one of the best pass blocking and run blocking centers in all of the NFL at this point in time, and he is absolutely making an impact against a guy like that. That is something that you love to see if you're a Saints fan.
All right, switching to a run defense, there's Bresee right there. He's in, again, a 2-eye technique because he's on the inside eye of the guard right here. And the Saints, what it looks like to me structure-wise, are playing just sort of a gap defense. You've got this defensive tackle as that gap. Jordan right there has the outside contain and the outside gap right there. Brezee's responsible for this gap right here. And we're going to get these two linebackers here just flowing wherever it makes sense. I think 56 just sees space and attacks. But I think overall, this is the structure of the defense here. Let me clean up the picture. But again, I want you to watch Bresee here, how he fights off a block and he plays his gap first, but comes off and makes a tackle. The Saints did not do a great job in the running game all game long, but I tell you what, Bresee made a lot of nice plays. Let's check out this one. Or you can kind of see the gap integrity kind of shaping up right there between the two defensive linemen. You see the two edge defenders there. Warner's flying to this gap. That makes sense. 56 is kind of stepping up inside there. I think that's the structure of the defense if I had to guess. But you can see, watch the running back for the Colts. He sees all this mush right here. He immediately bounced. But watch Bresee. Look how he handles this. He goes into the center, straight arms him, and comes off and makes a tackle. This is outstanding stuff. Look at that extension. Look at that base. That's how you play a double team. That's Quentin Nelson. That's Kelly. That's a tough double team to come off of. Look at look at that right there. Look at his position. That's all power and strength. And I love how he bench presses the center. Look at that. You can see how long his arms are because completely pushes the center off of him, allows him to come off and make the tackle right there. Really nicely done from Bresee. This is outstanding run defense right here. Because right here, there's a chance if Bresee can't come off and make this play here, there's a lot of green grass. You got Quentin Nelson one-on-one with the linebacker, right? There's a chance this could pop for a long run. You've got to make this play, and he does right there. Again, if he gets caught inside, that's a number 90 Bresee is kind of caught in the trash right here. There's a chance one-on-one with Tyrann Mathieu if 56 can't make the tackle for a huge run for the Colts. But Bresee does a phenomenal job. Bench presses the center, comes off, makes a tackle. Great work from the young rookie.
Yeah, Nick, and this is absolutely Brezee's best game of the season thus far. an 80 PFF grade for this game, a top-notch performance by him. And some people will say, oh, they're playing the Colts. The Colts aren't very good. When you're talking about one-on-one position matchups, you got to talk about the position groups. And the Colts offensive line is very, very good. They have Bernhard Raimann, top 10 tackle in the NFL at this point in time. You have Quentin Nelson. Everybody knows how much of a beast he is. Kelly, the number 1 graded center in the NFL right now. This guy is going up against some absolute dogs, and he had his best performance of this season so far, and I think he is only going to get better.
All right, let's go back to a pass rush. There is Bresee right there and a head-up nose right there against the center. This is a really good defensive lineman from the Saints. I love when teams do this. You can see the 2 defensive ends, their stand-up ends on the outside. They've walked up 2 inside linebackers. You can see them right there, 56 and 20, of course. And this basically forces all 5 offensive linemen to respect all 5 of these guys up front. And you can kind of bring a bunch of different blitz packages. You can slant guys different directions, or you can just go one-on-one and let some of these great defensive linemen work. Let's watch this matchup here again, right here. This is Bresee one-on-one against a really good center. Again, this is a tough block for the center right here. This is a design for the Saints to potentially make a big pass rush. But watch Bresee win this pass rush rep, get pressure on the quarterback, but watch his technique specifically. This guy plays like a savvy vet the way he uses his hands. All right, watch him go in, push, pull, clean beat there on the center. This is an outstanding rep from Bresee. I mean, this is tough right here for the center, of course, because he's got to kind of protect both gaps and watch the bull rush. Right here, the center's thinking bull rush. You can see the center start to bury his chest a little bit. Bresee then pulls him away and gets a great pass rush on the quarterback. But here's the part I really like. This is a savvy play from Bresee. He's expecting that the offensive left guard could potentially be providing help. So right as he beats the center, watch him move into a swim move just in case. Now, it looks like the left guard wasn't even trying to help the center anyway, so he didn't have to do the swim move. But I love the fact he almost expected that, right? That's a savvy play from a young player. You don't see that a lot. Great job from Bresee. Gets pressure on the quarterback, forces him to step up, get outside the pocket. Saints, unfortunately, couldn't stop him before he got the first down. But in terms of winning the rep, getting pressure right up the middle, which is exactly where you want to do if you're a defensive lineman, this is an outstanding rep from the rookie right here. He's just getting better and better.
Yeah, Nick, and this just shows refinement at another level. Coming out of college, one of the knocks on Bresee is he relied too much on his strength and burst and not enough on the techniques, the pass rushing moves. And here we see him executing these flawlessly, like as you said, the push, pull, the swim move. He's doing a lot of really great things on tape. I think this is showing the growth and refinement, the adaptation to the NFL level of play. I think this guy is going to be an absolutely phenomenal player. And going off of what you said at the beginning of the video, I think this guy is going to earn himself some more playing time.
All right, going back to a run defense, there's Bresee right there. We're going the other way. He's right there on the left guard. He's in a 3 technique. You can see it's a 3 technique on the outside shoulder of the guard in this situation. And the Saints are kind of wondering a kind of strange defense up front. They're kind of move the backside defensive tackle that way. They're going to kind of flow this linebacker up a little bit. Brezee's going to take a gap that way. It kind of looks like it's kind of a strange structure. I think the goal is to kind of confuse these guys up front. I think this is sort of a game plan structure where the Saints were trying to confuse the Colts offensive linemen so that way they couldn't get up to linebackers. But I want to focus on Bresee here, how he plays off blocks and how he could generate a big play for the Saints defense. Let's check out how he does. All right, so you can see the defensive tackle jumping inside. He's the only one doing a big stunt. You can see the linebacker stepping up to potentially fill the gap. I almost wonder if this was a game plan. They're almost sort of expecting inside run, and this was their counter to it. But watch Bresee right here. He engages the tackle who's working over to reach him. Right here, the running back, he's seeing kind of a muddled mess. I'm willing to bet this was supposed to be an inside run up the hash, but the Saints slanted into it. So right here, number 21 for Indianapolis, he sees grass to his left, so he cuts that way. Watch Bresee, though, play off of it. And this is the stuff I like, because a lot of defensive linemen, they get caught up in this mush, especially interior defensive linemen, and they can't play off blocks. They just don't have the ability to. I love Bresee fighting through it. He draws the holding penalty right there. He doesn't get it because for whatever reason, these refs don't see this egregious holding penalty at the point of attack. As much as referees are throwing the flags in today's NFL, I do not understand how arguably the worst holding penalty of the entire game is missed, because this is pretty egregious, right? I mean, look at that. I mean, this is as big a yank as there is. But I tell you what, that's going to get called a lot. And this is exactly how you win games with your defense. If you get guys drawing holding penalties, get teams in the 1st and 20, 2nd and 20, you're going to win a lot of football games. And here's how you can win, right? You force a big pile in the middle. That's sort of the big part of the job if you're an interior defensive lineman. Force these running backs to cut back outside to your help. The fact he's able to potentially draw a holding penalty there. If he wasn't held, he's a part of this tackle. I have no doubt about that. So again, this is Bresee showing his ability to not just execute his assignment and cause sort of a big pile, a big bush in the middle, but to be a playmaker, to work off a block and draw what should have been a holding call. This guy is deserving of more and more reps. I think a lot of the problems with the Saints defense happened when he wasn't on the field, and I think he's going to get more playing time because of it. All right, going with another pass rush situation, there is Bresee right there. He is a 3 technique on the outside shoulder of the guard. This is going to be the Saints, one of their favorite pass rushes. They're going to get everybody working this direction to the offense's left, the defense's right. You're going to everybody working this way, trying to get number 1 off the edge and generate pressure on Gardner Minshew. But again, this all comes down to Bresee because the Colts basically prioritize these edge defenders in their pass protection, and they do a decent job picking it up. But Bresee, one-on-one against Kelly, who, like we mentioned, is a really good player, does a really nice job yet again, forces Minshew to get rid of the ball quickly, a good play for the Saints defense. Let's check out how Bresee does here. Again, work across right there. He almost has Kelly beat right there. Right in Minshew's face. Has to dump it off, short gain. Folks, this is how you win games on defense. Because with their edge defenders, especially number 94, who is an absolute beast, he had a great day against the Colts as well watching the film. A lot of people are going to get one-on-one matchups for Brazilian guys inside. And I tell you what, he can win them because Kelly's a good player. And he dominated Kelly all game long. Pass rush game, did a good job in the run game too, as we showed earlier. Bresee in pass rushing situations is very quickly becoming a playmaking threat for an interior defensive lineman. Saints fans, I know he's been kind of slow to get going. Hopefully the coaches give him more playing time. I think his performance against the Colts will lead to that. But this pressure right here, beating a center right that, pressure right in the quarterback's face, that wins you football games because no offense can work like this way. This is essentially a check down, a nothing play, no game, right? Whatever concept the Colts were trying to work down the field just gets completely blown up. In this division, which is very winnable, the Saints are right there in the thick of it right now, getting some pressure in these young quarterbacks' faces. Desmond Ridder, Bryce Young, right? You'll win a lot of football games. Baker Mayfield. You'll create a lot of turnovers, and Bresee is going to generate a lot of them because of his effort, intensity, and technique as a pass rusher.
Yeah, Nick, and Bresee contributed a lot to tonight's game. 2 tackles, a batted pass, 2 hurries. He generated a lot of pressure for this Saints defense. And I think just getting more and more reps, and we see him every single game getting a little bit better. As I alluded to earlier, his best game on record in the NFL thus far. This guy is showing that he is a force on the field. And I think that this guy definitely should be potentially considered to work in the starting rotation of this Saints defensive line.
All right, we've got a 2-play sequence for you to finish off this film review today. We showed Bresee, and there he is right there. He is a 3 technique outside shoulder of the guard. This is a clear pass rush situation. Late in the game, the Saints are trying to hold on to a lead. And we've showed Bresee make plays in the running game. We've showed him generate pressure when he's a head-up nose. We showed him generate pressure when he's a 3 technique like he is in this case. But he's shown other ways to make plays. You kind of alluded to it, Mize, in your comments on the other play. This is a guy who, even when he doesn't beat the offensive lineman, has the hand-eye coordination to create some negative plays in the passing game for opposing offenses. Let's check out what Bresee does here. All right, works inside, and right here, he's kind of blocked up, right? Quentin Nelson, the left guard for the Colts, kind of handed him off to Kelly, the center. And right here, he just doesn't have a chance to the quarterback. But when you don't have a chance to get to the quarterback, what do they teach you? They talk about it all the time in the Sunday broadcast. Get your hands up. Deflected pass. I don't know if they gave him credit for this one on the stat sheet, but I tell you what, I think he got it right there. I think this ball, if you look at it, comes out like a wounded duck. I don't think this is Gardner Minshew throwing a terrible throw. I think this is Bresee getting his big paw up and deflecting the pass. And folks, that's just as good as getting a pass rush and forcing a throwaway. That's just as good as almost getting a sack, right? 2nd and 10, no gain. This is a team trying to pull off a comeback late in the game. They got an open receiver, deflected, ball incomplete. That's outstanding defense. Again, however you can get it done, whether it's getting pressure on the quarterback or deflecting the football, it all works, right? And we go into the next sequence in this play here. There he is. He's a head-up 0 technique in this situation, head up on the center. Very similar situation. Doesn't get there. He's essentially double team. Gets up. That one he definitely knocks down. I don't know how his teammate there dropped the interception. But this is playmaking ability, folks. This is, again, how you can win games. This is why this guy needs to be on the field more. It's not that he can just beat quality centers and get pressure on the quarterback. It's not that he can play off guards and tackles and do a good job in the running game. It's the fact that he can get up there and deflect passes too. There's not a lot of interior defensive linemen that can do all of these things. Usually a guy is a good run defender, a good pass rusher, or he gets his hands up and is a good athlete. Sees all those things. He needs to be on the field more. And I'm hopeful after this performance against the Colts, he'll get more reps because this is a Saints defense. This is the strength of their football team. We know Derek Carr's had his ups and downs. We know they have some weapons on offense. But in my opinion, push comes to shove, this Saints team is going to go as far as this defense will carry them. And I tell you what, if Bresee keeps making plays like this, they'll go a long way.